Hi everyone, this is the chair I picked up last week at the thrift store, and I want to do it a neutral color so that you can see the coverage that MudPaint offers. It will probably take 2 coats because of the dark in the fabric, but with many wood pieces you only need 1 coat, and that's one of the reasons that customers love MudPaint is because of its coverage. So what we're going to do, and it's real easy to paint fabric, what we're going to do is we're going to sweep it, whatever sweeper you need. And so let's just get this clean. Now, if you have any big stains that you think may bleed through, especially if you're doing a neutral color, you're going to want to try to get them out. But I would be real, just use water and a rag, just see what you can get out, blot it. Because if you start using stain spray, that can come up in that paint and you don't want it to seep out. You're going to need for this project a sanding foam. That way your paint doesn't dry out and crack. You're going to need your favorite color, mud paint. This is China White. If you wanted to probably get away with 1 coat, you could use a dark color, but we're going to use this white for today. You need any water, spray water gun, and on the spray versus the squirt, because you're going to wet your fabric really well before you begin to paint. Your favorite brush, it doesn't matter, whichever brush is going to work well for you is going to work well for this. And then I always use, and if you don't have a painting tray, and most of the time I don't have one right when I want to paint, I'm just going to use a plate and I'm going to pour my paint out onto the plate. The reason that I don't dip my brush into the paint is because most of the time I reuse the paint because paint stretches, it goes far, you can use it on a number of projects, so I'm always reopening it. And I don't want to get any of the dirt or whatever that I've gotten on the brush. I don't want to get that into the paint. So I'm just going to put what I'm going to use on the plate, add more if needed to the plate, and I will be good to go. One thing I'd like to just mention is that mud paint comes in a sample size, which is good for, a small side table, accent table, frames, candlesticks, baskets. It comes in a pint. You can get about a dresser, you can get a little bit more than a dresser with a pint, and then it comes with a quart. And you can get about 5 pieces with a quart, depending on how you apply the mud paint. So we do offer the 3 sizes, and this is a pint. I'm not going to use hardly any of the pint. So I'm going to have this for maybe a coffee table, a side table, etc. to use at a later date. But let's start. So we got our chair swept. We're going to spray it with water. And then we're going to shake up our paint. Now you can do that however you want. But I'm going to shake my paint now, get it poured out onto my plate, spray my chair with water, and start applying the paint. We're going to see how 1 coat does, and we'll go from there. If you don't have a can opener, use a screwdriver. And let's get this started. Okay, so as I said, you want to water down the chair. This is going to help it from cracking. It's going to help it get into your chair. Make sure you get it sprayed good. You got your brush, and let's just see how this goes. Work it in there. If you have any type of grooves, you can work that in. This is 1 coat and it is covering well. If you have a thicker paint, you may want to add water to it so it doesn't crack. This is, it's thicker, but I didn't want to add water just so I could show you this coverage that we're getting. 2 coats is going to be all we're going to need for this chair, and it is going to be beautiful. So I'm going to continue to paint this chair. I'm going to add water if I see that it needs water as I'm going. And once I get the back here done, I'm going to take my sanding brush or my sanding sponge, excuse me. And I'm gonna go over it so it gets into the texture. It's gonna help soften it. I'm gonna let it dry. Then I'm going to sand it. See if I need a second coat, which I'm most likely going to. You can see it here, the whites, I mean, it looks gorgeous. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of water so it doesn't dry out on me before I sand it. Hi, this is my flower chair that I'm painting white. Just finishing up my first coat. The first coat went on really great, and it is covering really well. It is best when you're painting fabric not to paint it too thick, to work it into your fabric so that you get it covered. And if you need to use another coat, use another coat versus applying it too thickly. You don't want a real thick paint job on a fabric. But it is looking amazing, and it is amazing that it's only, look at the coverage on this white. I could add, a little bit here and touch that up. And when it dries, I'm only gonna need one more coat, and this chair is gonna be done. It will dry in about 30 minutes, depending on, the room temperature, and it is going to then be ready to go. So I will post the finished project, and if I have any problems, I'll let you know on this chair. But right now it is turned out beautiful, and the China white is covering this wonderful floral chair. Amazing. So I'm gonna do the seat, I'll do the back, let it dry, and then come back and do that second coat. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, I'm using MudPaint. It's clay-based, it has a smooth finish. The coverage is amazing. Most customers only need one coat, and it's just awesome.